When it comes to your police hiring process, does unfair and biased practices happen? And if they do, how do we address them? Let's discuss. Before I jump into this one, we have those gifts down in the description. I really want you to use them. They're fantastic and they're going to help you through the hiring process. One is the getting hired workshop, right? It's going to walk you through every phase of the hiring process, maybe some that you don't even know are there, and it's going to guide you with every step of the process and give you that information that you might not know or might not be able to find out there. Additionally, there's some hidden bonuses in there too. Additionally, though, if you have something specific to you and you want to jump on a free coaching call, we have extended hours down below. Sign up for a free coaching call. We'd love to sit down and actually help you work through specifically your hiring process. Now, unfair practices or biased practices in your hiring process. Does it happen? I can't sit here and say no, right? I'd love to sit here and say no, but I can't do that because I don't know every single hiring practice out there or every department. And, I say this all the time. What do you call a doctor with all C's in med school? They're still a doctor. It's the same thing with law enforcement, nursing, educators, politicians, everything. Everyone's got, hate to use the term, bad apples in their profession, right? So I can't sit here and say no. I will say that it's probably not as prevalent as media or anything else makes it out to be. And that being said, is a lot of times when individuals feel that they're being targeted, right, or that they feel that there's some type of bias, it is probably not actually happening. However, it does happen. I've said it before on another video where I had a member, excuse me, I had another member where she was targeted by the psychologist for her beliefs. And then the psychologist had the opposite beliefs and then used them against this member. Ultimately, we were able to teach this member how to articulate themselves properly, and they went back and passed with the same psychologist, which is fantastic. Within a year, too. Fantastic. Psychologist, completely biased, right? Now, that being said, law enforcement, now that was a third-party psychologist, which is usually what you'll deal with. But inside the police department, usually there's a lot of steps put in place to mitigate that or to prevent bias from happening or some type of unsavory practice, right? So you're usually not going to run into it too much within the department. But what do you do if you feel that that's occurring to you? Well, I want you to address this much like you would a law enforcement scenario or a law enforcement call or even a board scenario. First and foremost, you need to take a step back. You need to really analyze everything. And did you do something that caused this to occur? Taking some self-responsibility for things will a lot of times allow us to get out of our own way to see maybe did we have some type of error occur that's fixable for the next event, right? If so, you're really doing a lot better than 90% of other people if you can do that. The other aspect to this, though, is maybe you didn't, right? Maybe you just feel that this person is targeting you, and you go and you do your polygraph, and they say, hey, you fail, and then they say, well, we're not going to disclose to you why. They don't have to. Understand that almost every department across the nation, not every single one, but almost every department across the nation will never disclose to you the reason that they didn't select you. And a lot of times you sign a document or there's some type of legislation on the books where they don't have to, right? They do not need to disclose their hiring decisions. I want to say hiring practices, but hiring decisions to candidates, to individuals who applied. I know that's tough to hear, right? Because you're saying, man, if you wanted to get better, then you would just tell and people could improve. But you got to understand, you already can't apply to them again. So they have no investment into you at this point in time. And if they find something that you maybe weren't 100% truthful with throughout, let's say, the background process, then you've actually wasted their money because they're not going to hire you, but they've already started this process and investing in you via time of background investigators and booking medical or psychological or polygraph appointments, all this type of stuff. So they have their reasons for running it the way they do. And while it's a pain and it makes it very difficult for you to say move on or grow past that, it's where they stand and it's how they do it. And trying to compete against that right now is not where your energy is best served. Your energy is best served in learning to articulate your hurdles and yourself and your strengths, right? Learn how to sell yourself. Additionally, making yourself improve, whether that be physically or mentally, right? Getting that mental toughness, getting that physical toughness so that you can perform the functions of the job better than anyone else. And then lastly, putting your emphasis on learning, the departments that you're applying to. That way you have that competitive edge when you're asked a question about it, where you can say, hey, yeah, I know that you have 200 sworn officers, but you're backed up by about 1,300 unsworn employees that support the department in various organizations, collaborating within the city or within the community that we serve. Those are great numbers and great information to have, and you don't just get that by doing a simple Google search, right? You got to look into departments, you got to look into websites, and then you might even have to look into LinkedIn pages to find out what the direction of the department is going by their head level executives. So you go in, but at the end of the day, you go in and you say, hey, Frank, I've been upfront, I've been honest, I didn't lie. I'm 100% sure, I'm 100% sure that these individuals are, illegal hiring practices or just bias. How do I handle this? I'm going to give you the truth here. And the truth is, if you're trying to get into law enforcement and you're trying to attack a department at the same time, and that's how the department would see it, is you're going to attack them. I mean, you could approach it from a legal perspective, you can file a formal complaint, and if something like that is actually occurring and you have proof, emphasis on this, you have proof, then I would say yes, do what's right and make sure that you report unprofessional conduct. If it's just your thoughts and you don't have any proof, then you're not doing your hiring process. And that's why I'm here, to try and help you get hired as a law enforcement officer. The other stuff we can discuss with that offline, right? But right now, for your hiring process, going in and having a pending lawsuit against a department that didn't hire you, it's going to look horrendous when you apply to another department. And that's just the truth of it. It's gonna definitely hurt you. And now, that being said, though, if you have proof and you're 100% sure that this department has done wrongdoing during their hiring process, then 100% address it. But if you're just upset that they didn't pick you up, and if you're just upset that they didn't tell you anything or explain anything, or maybe their hiring process is just not up to par, not necessarily biased, but just not up to par, and it's just a really unprofessional department in regards to, they don't get back with you, they tell you they need stuff last minute, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can go on Google and create a Google account and leave them a bad Google review, right? Or go on what is it, Glassdoor, or any of the hiring, third-party hiring sites, and leave a review for other individuals looking to apply. That's something different, though. That's for just you being upset with their poor management, poor recruiting practices. And trust me, a lot of departments have poor recruiting practices. Deal with them every single day. Try to make them better every single day, but it takes time. So for your specific situation, if you're 100% sure you have that proof, then yeah, you can try to pursue legal assistance, right? And you can address it and make formal complaints and go that route. But be sure, because this could and most likely will have a negative implication on your hiring process with another department. If that department contacts your old department that you applied to and said, hey, this is, DEF to police department. We see that Frank applied to ABC police department. We see you didn't pick him up. What happened with that? Oh, I think that's the guy that filed a complaint against us, and I think he filed a lawsuit against us for not hiring him, and that they're going to sell it a completely different way than what you're trying to sell it. And while articulation is key to explaining any of those hurdles, it's going to be a coin toss to whether or not who they believe at that point in time, just due to the fact that they have a department telling them one thing and a member telling them the other. And chances are they're going to try and sell you as a disgruntled former applicant. So keep that in mind. It's not ideal, but I wanted to be serious on this specific topic. The world is not black and white, and if it was, then law enforcement would never have discretion to say not write someone a speeding ticket if they're having a bad day. So while sometimes we wish it was just black and white and we had all the answers, understand that life's about balance, and that's really going to be the key function there. Excuse me. I hope this helps. Remember, those gifts are in the description for you. The Getting Started workshop, it's going to help you through every phase. And then on top of it, there's some hidden bonuses. And the second part is the free coaching call with myself or another member of our instructor cadre. They will walk you through anything that's specific to you, and we'll see what we can do to point you in the right direction so you get hired the first time without any issues. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.